Why Americans are leaving the US for the Philippines in 2025 and never looking back. No one expected it. But in 2025, former US President Donald Trump made a statement that flipped the script entirely. With just a few explosive words, he sparked a tidal wave of Americans packing up and flying across the Pacific, not in protest, but in pursuit of something better. What did he say about Filipinos that hit so hard? And why is it sending thousands of Americans racing to the Philippines, not just for vacations, but to start over? This isn't a trend, it's a movement. Trump's comments didn't just grab headlines, they lit a fuse. He praised Filipinos for their resilience, their family values, and their work ethic. But what he didn't expect? That his words would strike a nerve in Americans, exposing just how tired, frustrated, and disillusioned many of them have become. Suddenly, the Philippines isn't just an exotic destination, it's looking like a new American dream. Forget the palm trees and tourist cliches. More and more Americans are booking one-way tickets. They're walking away from rent they can't afford, broken systems, and a culture that feels like it's lost its soul. So why now? Sure, Trump's bold praise kick-started the buzz. But what's really fueling the shift is what Americans are realizing on their own. Life back home feels like a never-ending grind, while the Philippines is offering something many haven't felt in years: peace, purpose, and possibility. Let's break it down. America, the land of the free? That freedom now comes with fine print, endless rules, and sky-high costs. A decent apartment in a safe neighborhood? Say goodbye to your entire paycheck. Dreaming of retirement? Most can barely afford groceries, let alone a comfortable future. Eating out feels like getting robbed. $100 for a bland meal and a side of stress? Insane. Now picture this. You land in the Philippines, and instantly, the energy shifts. It's not just warm, it's welcoming. People smile, strangers say hello. And for the first time in forever, you feel like the world isn't out to crush you. The food, authentic and flavorful. The rent, laughably affordable. The beaches, unreal. And the people? If you're single, good luck leaving. Filipino charm is very real and refreshing. Here's the kicker. What if the life you're working yourself to death for in America already exists? Somewhere else? What if the real dream has been waiting in the Philippines all along? In the Philippines, relationships still matter. People help each other. There's a sense of togetherness, something Americans say they miss but rarely experience anymore. Meanwhile, back home, dating feels like a game with impossible rules. Six-figure income? Check. Chiseled abs? Check. Master chef and financial planner? Check. And even if you somehow check every box, you're still not enough. It's a race to perfection with no finish line. That's why Trump's words struck so deep. When he praised the Filipino spirit, he held up a mirror. Americans saw the truth. Something vital is slipping away. Filipinos still hustle, still value family, still laugh even when life gets hard. And they don't need a holiday to gather around a table. They do it every weekend. But this shift isn't just emotional, it's practical. In the US, people are exhausted. You work 60 hours a week and still live paycheck to paycheck. In the Philippines, you can live in a modern condo, work remotely, and still have time to catch sunsets on the beach. Imagine that. On a random Tuesday, you're sipping fresh mango juice, riding through the mountains on a scooter, or eating grilled seafood with your feet in the sand. Try pulling that off in New York or LA. You won't even make it out of traffic. And then there's the money factor. It's not even close. $1,000 in the US barely gets you through the week. In the Philippines, it's freedom. It covers your rent, your meals, and even your weekend plans. You're not surviving, you're living. Dinner out isn't a luxury, it's just life. Transportation is cheap, entertainment is everywhere. And the best part? You can afford it all without selling your soul. But here's the most unexpected part. The Philippines actually wants you there. Unlike some places where foreigners are treated like walking wallets, Filipinos treat Americans like neighbors. People greet you with genuine interest. They talk to you, not at you. They smile. And no, it's not fake. It's community. It's connection. The kind that's disappeared in the US, replaced by endless screens, stress, and loneliness. While Americans argue over politics, Filipinos live their lives. They're not glued to their phones, rage scrolling or canceling each other online. They're laughing, sharing meals, and figuring things out together. They're not obsessed with controversy. They're focused on living. And that's what really hit home when Trump spoke up. It wasn't just a compliment, it was a wake-up call. Americans realized they've lost something: resilience, simplicity, joy. And the Philippines still has it. That's why the shift is real. Americans aren't fleeing. They're choosing. They're choosing sanity over stress, purpose over pressure. They're not chasing a dream that's always just out of reach. In the Philippines, they're catching it. Think about it. You work less, live better, and somehow feel wealthier, even if you make less. That's not fantasy. That's happening, right now. And for those still clinging to the old version of the American dream, hoping it magically returns, wake up. That world is gone. But a new one? It might just be waiting across the Pacific. What if the escape from America's chaos isn't just a fantasy, but a one-way ticket to peace, affordability, and actual joy? That's what thousands of Americans are discovering in the Philippines. No stress, no pretense, just a life worth waking up for. And for many who've had enough of the grind, the Philippines isn't some distant dream. It's right here, waiting, offering what the US no longer can: a simpler, fuller, freer life. So here's the real question. Why are you still stuck where you are? There's something oddly poetic about Americans leaving behind the noise and burnout of their own empire, to find peace in a place their country once ruled, not out of necessity, but by choice. Because after years of outrageous rents, backbreaking hours, and fading hopes of ever retiring, they've finally realized something powerful. Life doesn't have to be a constant fight. It can be easy. It can be fulfilling. It can be good. And that truth? It's hitting like a slap across the face, wrapped in banana leaves and served with a side of lumpia. This shift has nothing to do with nostalgia or political optics. It's much bigger. It's a fundamental reset on what the good life really looks like. Remember when the American dream meant working hard, buying a home, raising a family, and retiring with dignity? That dream is collapsing under the weight of taxes, bills, and burnout. Now it feels like work harder, get less, retire just in time to catch your breath before your body gives up. People are waking up, quietly, steadily. They're finding the exits. Enter the Philippines. It's not trying to sell you a fantasy. It doesn't need to. The life you've been trying to build is already here, under palm trees, behind warm smiles, and inside quiet streets where people still take time to live. Is it perfect? No place is. But life here moves to a different rhythm. It's slower, more intentional. People enjoy their mornings. They eat real meals with family. They talk, laugh, relax. It's not about what you own. It's about how you live. And for an American who's spent years sprinting on a treadmill to nowhere, that kind of freedom, it's intoxicating. That's why retirees are coming in waves. People who spent decades in the US workforce scraping together pensions are realizing that here, that money stretches. They're not surviving, they're thriving. Not eating canned soup in the suburbs, but sipping fresh coconut juice on beaches in Cebu. Not crammed into tiny apartments priced by Wall Street investors, but living in modern high-rises with views that cost less than a cable bill in California. And it's not just retirees, digital nomads, remote workers, small business owners. They're all catching on. You don't need to be chained to an overpriced American zip code just to earn a living. As long as you've got Wi-Fi, the world is your office. So ask yourself, would you rather be trapped under fluorescent lights, staring at a screen in a cubicle, or taking Zoom calls from a rooftop bar with waves crashing in the background? But the change isn't just economic, it's emotional. In America, people are becoming invisible. Walk down any street and it's like everyone's a ghost. Face buried in a screen, avoiding eye contact, afraid of each other. In the Philippines, it's the opposite. People greet you, smile at you, ask how your day is going, and mean it. There's warmth, energy, a sense that people are genuinely glad to be alive. And then there's dating. Let's talk about it. For American men who've spent years getting ghosted, gaslit, or graded like job applicants, the dating culture in the US feels broken. But here, it's different. Filipino women are still connected to traditional values. They're affectionate, loving, and actually want relationships. They're not in competition with their partners. They're building with them. Marriage isn't a power game. It's a partnership. Imagine that. A relationship where you're appreciated for being yourself, not for ticking off a checklist of income, abs, and emotional availability. Back home, dating feels like a never-ending game with rules that keep changing. In the Philippines, it's refreshingly clear. You like someone, you talk, you connect, you build. And for many men, that's not just a bonus, it's life-changing. Here's the truth no one says out loud. Once you get a taste of this life, going back feels impossible. The idea of returning to stress, to noise, to long hours and short weekends, it starts to sound absurd. You question it all. Why did I accept that as normal? Why did I work 60 hours a week just to barely survive? Why did I let joy become a thing I had to postpone? This shift isn't a fad, it's a revelation. More Americans are waking up. And once they do, they can't unsee it. The Philippines isn't some well-kept secret anymore. The wave has started, and no one's turning back. Think about it. Just a century ago, Americans wouldn't even consider moving to the Philippines. It would have sounded strange, even concerning. But now, the script has flipped. The very place so many once left in search of opportunity is now welcoming Americans searching for peace. This isn't just retirees chasing cheap beach houses or backpackers chasing sunsets. It's professionals, families, creators, entrepreneurs, people who were told they had to suffer to succeed. And now, they know that's a lie. Because when you step outside the American bubble, you start to see what you've been missing all along. Even something as basic as human interaction hits differently. Walk through any US city, and it's like no one exists. Everyone's racing, stressed, scrolling. In the Philippines, strangers become friends. Waiters remember your name. Neighbors check in on you. It's not performance, it's just the culture. That's why so many expats say they feel at home the moment they land, even before unpacking their bags. And work? Let's be honest. American hustle culture is toxic. It glorifies overwork, burnout, and empty ambition. In the Philippines, work matters, but it's not everything. Here, people make time for life. They take breaks, celebrate weekends, enjoy family meals. They know success isn't measured by how exhausted you are, it's measured by how alive you feel. And financially, it's a no-brainer. You can earn online, live in a city condo, eat out daily, and still spend less than just surviving in America. Suddenly, the financial pressure lifts. You stop checking your bank app in fear. You stop avoiding doctor visits. You live. And let's not forget the food. If you're used to drive-through meals and flavorless convenience, prepare to have your taste buds rebooted. Fresh seafood, spices, street food that makes you close your eyes in delight. Here, food isn't fuel, it's celebration. You share it, savor it. It brings people together. And yes, let's talk dating again. Because for many men, especially those burned out by modern American dating, the Philippines is a reset button. Women here value romance, softness, emotional support. They're not treating love like a power game. They see it as a partnership where happiness is mutual. It's not about who earns more or controls the narrative. It's about joy, respect, and building something real. And that isn't just refreshing, it's rare. Even the country itself is a blend of modern and traditional. Towering malls stand beside peaceful villages. You can live in a buzzing city or disappear into a quiet beach town. And the best part? You don't have to choose. You can have both. The Philippines lets you design your own pace. Still hesitating? Sure, leaving everything behind sounds crazy. You've been conditioned to think the American way is the only way. But ask yourself, what if that's the real lie? What if freedom isn't tied to geography, but to mindset? What if happiness isn't at the end of the grind, but waiting for you right now in a place that's already built for joy? This is why people are coming. Not because of Trump, not because of politics, but because they've finally woken up. The dream they were chasing, it doesn't live in a skyscraper or under a pile of credit card debt. It's not hidden behind work stress and delayed vacations. It's here, where people smile more, worry less, and live better. So here's the final question. Once you taste this life, why would you ever go back? Migration is shifting, priorities are changing, and for the first time in decades, Americans are asking themselves something radical. What if the good life isn't in America? What if it's here, and the Philippines? It's ready to answer that call. If you're still watching, chances are this message speaks to you. So don't just scroll past. Like, subscribe, drop a comment, share this with someone stuck in the cycle. They might need the wake-up call. Because sometimes the first step to freedom is realizing you can walk away.